ago, I made a mistake. I didn't even know I had done anything wrong. I had written a sketch that had the word faggot in it.
The king of comedy has done it again, stirring the pot and leaving everyone talking. Dave Chappelle's fearless approach to comedy has once more become the center of attention. If you haven't seen what he's been saying, you're missing out on a cultural reset in the world of stand-up.
Hey, if you do anything wrong in your life, and I find out about it, I'm gonna try to take everything away from you. And I don't care when I find out. Could be today, tomorrow, 15, 20 years from now. If I find out, you're fucking finished. Who's that? That's you.
With his latest Netflix special, The Dreamer, and some unfiltered podcast appearances, Chappelle is smashing through the glass walls of woke culture. Hollywood elites are fuming, trying to keep up with his no-apology stance. But why is his humor sparking so much outrage among woke liberals? Simple. Chappelle's confidence and massive fan base make him untouchable, and that power terrifies an industry used to controlling narratives.
Americans generally respect one another's beliefs, even if they don't share those beliefs. I know I do. I respect everybody's beliefs.
In today's era, where everyone walks on eggshells to avoid offending anyone, Chappelle remains the exception. His raw, unapologetic humor slices through the noise, calling out hypocrisy with his trademark wit. Critics of The Dreamer are crying foul, branding it offensive, but for the majority of his fans, it's a breath of fresh air, a wake-up call in a world afraid of honesty.
I don't be coming out doing comedy all the time, because y'all niggas is the worst motherfuckers I've ever tried to entertain in my fucking life.
Let's face it, though, that's precisely why audiences adore him. Dave Chappelle doesn't care about conforming to societal norms or appeasing critics. He's here to speak the truth, even if it means challenging the sacred tenets of woke ideology. This isn't his first rodeo either. Remember the closer? That Netflix special caused massive protests, with demonstrators even rallying outside Netflix HQ, demanding its removal. And guess what? Netflix stood firm, and so did Chappelle.
I am not saying that to say that trans women aren't women. I am just saying that those pussies that they got. You know what I mean?
Let's face it, though. That's precisely why audiences adore him. Dave Chappelle doesn't care about conforming to societal norms or appeasing critics. He's here to speak the truth, even if it means challenging the sacred tenets of woke ideology. This isn't his first rodeo either. Remember the closer? That Netflix special caused massive protests, with demonstrators even rallying outside Netflix HQ, demanding its removal. And guess what? Netflix stood firm, and so did Chappelle.
I ain't doing trans jokes no more. You know what I'm gonna do tonight? Tonight, I'm doing all handicap jokes.
The story unfolds with Chappelle sharing how Jim Carrey remained in character as Andy Kaufman throughout the filming. While amusing at first, the experience takes a strange turn, prompting Chappelle to draw a hilarious yet controversial parallel.
I wanted to meet Jim Carrey, and I had to pretend this nigga was Andy Kaufman all afternoon. And he was clearly Jim Carrey. I could look at him and I could see he was Jim Carrey. Anyway, I say all that to say, that's how trans people make me feel.
Chappelle compares Carrey's method acting to his feelings about transgender people, delivering a punchline that hit like a freight train. That's how trans people make me feel. The audience erupted in laughter, applause, and cheers. But as expected, the woke left branded the joke as transphobic and insensitive, reigniting debates about comedy's boundaries.
Do you want to meet him? And I said, fuck, yes I do. And it was the first time I could remember since my father died being excited. And the movie was called Man on the Moon. I didn't know any of this. And in this movie, Jim Carrey was playing another comedian I admired, the late, great Andy Kaufman. Yes, and Jim Carrey was so immersed in that role that from the moment he woke up to the time he went to bed at night, he would live his life.
And it didn't stop there. Chappelle's joke about LeBron James diving into the gender debate turned even more heads. He posed the hypothetical, what if LeBron James transitioned? Should he stay in the NBA or play in the WNBA, where, as Chappelle quipped, he'd score 840 points a game? It wasn't just humor, it was a direct critique of the complexities in today's gender conversations.
Okay, say LeBron James changed his gender. You know what I mean? Okay, can he stay in the NBA, or, because he's a woman, does he have to go to the WNBA where he will score 840 points a game?
What makes Chappelle stand out isn't just his comedy. It's his unwavering determination to speak freely. He isn't interested in sugarcoating or tiptoeing around sensitive topics. His jokes hold up a mirror to society, forcing us to confront contradictions and laugh at the absurdity of it all. This fearless approach has earned him not just fans, but also countless critics.
I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God.
Chappelle didn't just limit his thoughts to stand up. His recent appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience added more fuel to the fire. The conversation between two of the most canceled figures in entertainment became an explosive takedown of cancel culture, woke ideologies, and the sheer madness of modern discourse.
You're gonna feel like, well, was something wrong with me, or like?
Yeah, there's a lot of tone-deaf folks out there that didn't get that, are out there taking that photo in front of a private jet with a Gucci bag, smiling. Like, hey, this is not the time for that. Yeah.
During the podcast, Chappelle highlighted how comedy is being stifled by institutions trying to enforce a rigid narrative. He revealed that he's turned down numerous sponsorships, knowing companies would drop him at the first sign of controversy. For Chappelle, it's not about the money. It's about staying true to his voice and protecting the integrity of his craft.
They've canceled people that are more powerful than me.
It's not just comedians like Joe Rogan supporting Chappelle. UFC President Dana White has openly praised him for standing up to cancel culture, calling him one of the bravest entertainers of our time. White also commended Netflix for refusing to cave under the pressure of protesters during the Closer backlash. This kind of support is rare in Hollywood, and it's exactly what Chappelle needs to keep doing what he does best.
Lunatics trying to cancel them.
Yep.
Going after Chappelle, going after Rogan, going after all these different comedians who stood strong, stood their ground, and continued to do their art, in which we need badly.
Chappelle's critique of cancel culture goes even deeper. He's repeatedly argued that outrage culture isn't about genuine offense, it's about entertainment. As Rogan put it, recreational outrage has become a sport. People are more interested in finding their next target than engaging in meaningful conversations. Chappelle refuses to play their game, staying defiant despite the constant attacks.
No, my brother.
But it was such a shitty article. It's just a poorly written knucklehead article.
It's again, like you say, no one can be woke enough. You know, I'm torn because I like a warrior for a good cause, but I'm really into tactics. You're not going to nag people into behaving
Right.
in a way that's, you know, in fact, if you continue with this tone, even if you're right, you'll be very hard to hear.
People aren't outraged because they care. They're outraged because it's fun. Outrage has turned into a game, a sport where players eagerly wait for their next target, their next victim to drag through the mud. Joe Rogan nailed it on the Joe Rogan Experience, calling it recreational outrage. He's spot on. The truth? Most of these people don't even care about what Dave Chappelle says. They're not truly offended. They're just on the prowl, searching for something, anything that can fuel their anger. Spot an opportunity to cancel someone? They pounce, no questions asked, no context needed. But here's the kicker. Chappelle knows the rules of their game, and he's not playing. The woke mob can line up with their pitchforks, but he's not backing down. He's still here, cracking jokes, making people laugh, and standing firm against the hate. So, where does this leave Hollywood? Furious. The woke elites are scrambling, unsure how to deal with someone like Chappelle. He's too big, too influential, too untouchable. And it drives them crazy. They're used to controlling the narrative, silencing anyone who steps out of line. But with Chappelle, their tactics don't work. He won't bow, won't apologize, and that defiance is exactly why his fans adore him. Hollywood wants him silenced, but here's the twist. Every attempt only makes him stronger. His audience keeps growing because people are done with the woke agenda. They're tired of being policed on what they can laugh at. Chappelle is exactly what they need. A comedian who's fearless, boundary-breaking, and unapologetically real. So, what's next? Will the woke mob finally bring him down? Can Hollywood figure out how to deal with him? Don't count on it. Chappelle's not just surviving, he's thriving. And as long as he's making people laugh, he's not going anywhere.